It's Wednesday, and it's Wedding Wednesday, and I'm so happy to be here again with makeup on. My hair is flat. My hair is flat, and my husband is telling me that my hair is too flat, and I just can't always look the same. Also, if anyone knows my husband, he's the last person who has the right to talk about how weird hair looks. So I just ignore him. That's what you do when you're married. Anywho, it's Wednesday and we are in the middle of COVID pandemic. Yes, we are. It is a topic that we're going to touch upon every week just because things keep changing every week. So why not? And I know you all have questions and concerns. Someone asked a question, what do I think about October weddings? Right now, as I mentioned before, the halls are trying to take things 1 month at a time. I know that is frustrating, but we're just trying not to let everybody panic and move everything for the whole year because we don't want all the businesses to go down because then there won't be any weddings at these venues. So and we're just trying to deal with things one thing at a time. So right now most of the June weddings have moved. If you're in June and you haven't moved your wedding yet, I would highly consider it. Again, I'm not your planner, so anything I say here is my opinion, and I'm not telling you you have to go do it. But you tune in here for my opinion, that's what you're gonna get. And July weddings, I believe are starting to move. I know some that have moved. If you are in July, you need to at least start thinking about a backup plan. And I don't have the answers. No one does. Again, some people are saying this could be 18 months, which I really hope not. I don't believe it will be. And some people are saying, things are starting to look up and maybe in May, they'll start lifting bans and, slowly after that, things might begin to get back to normal, especially, events. Now, again, like I said before, if someone comes along, if the Prime Minister comes along and says, or the Premier says, okay, you can go ahead and have events. We all know it's not going to work that, next week, okay, you can have your wedding next week. First of all, it's impossible to plan to rehire everybody or whatever you have to do. And secondly, I don't think people are going to jump out the next day, at least not to an event. They might jump out of their house and go to the store without a mask on. I don't know. But people will still be a little weary about going out, especially when there's a lot of people around. So I think from the moment that they say, you're clear to leave your house, you're clear to have events, it will be gradual. The amount of people you'll be able to have will be gradual, and the willingness of people to go out will be gradual. So to answer your question about October, I am not concerned about October at all right now. July, I believe, should be moving soon. If they want to wait another week, that's fine. August, my August brides, we haven't even talked about moving yet. So I suggest just have a little bit of patience. I know it's hard. I know you have invites to send out. You can send invites out a month and a half. In this case, it's usually 2 to 3 months, but you can now do, a month and a half. Your guests will understand that they need your response back faster, and you have to send your invites out closer to the date than usual, and that's more than fine. If you think about it, the mail usually only takes about a couple days, so it shouldn't take 2 months to get invites back. But the other thing is that a lot of venues are only letting you move to March right now, and so if you wait your turn, you might be able to get months later in the year next year, because as soon as July, August starts opening, they might run out of space up until March, so they'll have to open April, May. So I would just hold off a little bit. Don't panic. And if you need to, and you're in August right now, just start thinking about a plan B. A lot of venues are good at holding dates right now. A lot of vendors are willing to do that because they know what the situation is. Also, keep in mind when you are picking dates, don't just pick a date and then go call your venues and say your vendors and say, hey, this is my new date, are you coming? Because a lot of us have weddings already booked next year and later on in the year as well. So a lot of my clients have been good at calling up the hall and coming back to me with 3, 4, 5 dates and saying which ones are you available for, and then they're calling all their vendors and they're seeing which ones work the best. Of course, it might be possible to not some vendors won't be able to do any of those dates, and you might not be able to get all those vendors. But again, a lot of people work in teams. So like for me, for instance, if you've hired me and you're moving to a date that I'm not available, I have 2 other teams I send out, and I would never send someone out who is going to represent me. That's going to make me look bad, not do a good job. And I'm sure that's how it works for photographers and videographers. A lot of them have teams. So keep that in mind, and be willing to think outside the box. Be willing to think about doing it on a Friday if you have to. You might change your design of what you're doing. Let's see, I have some questions here. Rosemary, a friend of mine is getting married in November. What are your thoughts on changing the date? Too early to stress still? Yes, I think it's too early to stress still. As we were talking about October earlier, I think it's too early to stress. I have a few brides that have moved their date from April to November. Actually, my bride is supposed to be getting married this weekend. She moved to November. So I have hopes for that. And again, I don't know. I can't say for sure what you need to do, what you don't need to do. But I would not think about November yet. And also your venue might not let you move yet. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but like I said, we can't just clear out the whole year. There's a process to doing things. And the longer you wait, you need to speak to your venue, because you have a payment plan as well with your venue. Sometimes 6 months before you owe a certain amount, and a month before you owe another lump sum. Some venues, make you pay in full a few weeks before your wedding. So just talk to them right now. Like if you're in November, whatever it is, you want to call them and just talk to them about what situation am I getting myself into if I wait? If I wait 6 months, even your florist, how long can I wait before there's penalties, or I owe you more money, or you can't order those flowers anymore, or you've ordered them and I can't change because they've already been ordered and you have to pay for them, or they have to come out of my pocket. So just have this discussion with all your vendors. I would call your vendors and say, this is obviously what's going on. I'm not saying I'm moving yet, but what are your other options if I do move? How late do you need to know if I am going to move? And that's all the advice I can give you on that. Going back to some questions that we had. Sorry, I'm just going to catch up here because I lost some comments here. Okay. Ooh, look. My wedding is next year, August 2021. Do you think it is a good idea to save the dates since lots of 2020 brides are moving to next year? There's no harm in sending save the dates. What I do like to tell a lot of people is that if you're getting married next year and you know your date, I'm pretty sure you have told all your close family and friends what your date is. So my response to that is, if you can't save the dates and you don't feel like you want to save the dates and you're worried about other brides moving their dates, I'm pretty sure your aunt and uncle already know what your wedding is, and if they're gonna not come to your wedding because this other bride has moved, that's probably I don't think they would do that to you. So my answer is I don't think it's necessary to save a date, but it's not going to hurt you. It just all depends on what's in your budget. There's nothing wrong with sending save the dates. I know a lot of brides now are sending save my new date, which makes sense. Other people have asked, one of the questions was, what do you think is better, an RSVP card to respond on the website or to respond by card? I always tell my clients, always put a response, again, it depends on your budget and stuff, but always put an RSVP card in your invitation. It's just proper etiquette, and also for the older people, that's what they're used to, that's what they like. If you're trying to save money on stamps and envelopes and all that stuff, I mean, that's fine, you can just do a website, but for most people who say they want to do a website, I always encourage doing both. So putting a response card in and then saying, or you can go to this website and reply there if you don't want to spend the time to mail it back. The brides that are dealing with weddings this year and they have it done, but they haven't mailed them, or they're already sent to print and they might have to mail them, but they might have to change their date, or they're waiting to send them. Those brides, I highly recommend creating a website that your guests can respond to, but also for your guests to go to in case you do have to change your date again. So if you're getting married, like usually for July, you'd be sending out your wedding invites April, May, which I'm assuming you've already ordered and they might be printed and glued already. You don't want to pay for another set. Send out your invites, say this is the date we're having. In case of a change, we will notify you by on the website or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind if you're sending any invites out now. We do have a guest. I know we're going to have lots of questions and we'll try to get to all of them. But I did promise you that we are going to have Gary from Digital X, and they are a DJ company, entertainment company. They have a lot of sound and lighting equipment in a bunch of halls, and I've worked many weddings with them. So I think that Gary is ready. I see him asking to join. Just give me a thumbs up if you're there, and I will. Are you ready? Because I don't know if maybe you just changed your mind. So just give me a thumbs up and I will add you in, and we can start talking about fun stuff like when to book your DJ, what you need to ask your DJ, what to talk about with them, how the in-house works. So there we are. Okay, I'm going to bring Gary on. Hopefully this works, because some weeks it decides it does not want to work. Someone's writing, send the save the date card so you don't. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Rose. How are you?
Good.
What's
Look, I put on my party makeup for you. It's like my dark makeup, and like I came kind of rockerish for you today.
You look fantastic. You look fantastic, and I disagree with Giuseppe. I don't think your hair's that flat. It's just a perfect
I
volume.
can't do the same all the time. Curly hair all the time. Honestly, I'm done with my hair. If you saw these nails maybe you don't care because you're a guy, but these nails are horrible. And if you saw his video, by the way, I don't know who follows my husband. As a side note, my husband, Giuseppe, the MC, likes to do videos and make fun of me. All the stuff in there is not true, okay? I can show you my legs. They are shaved.
Well, I do want to commend you and Giuseppe for what you guys are doing during this time. You guys are giving back, getting people some entertainment value, giving advice to these people while we're all in this together. But I do commend you and Giuseppe on doing such a beautiful thing for everybody. And thanks for having me on. It's amazing.
Thank you. And thank you for being on. And I have to say a few things before we get into any questions about DJing. I'd like to commend Digital X for keeping me entertained. Is it always 7 o'clock? You keep changing the time. I just see when it comes live.
7 o'clock is the DJs most of the night. And then we got some live performances that are going to go on at 6 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. And then we got some late night DJs and some secrets and some special stuff that's going to happen.
And more things coming. It's amazing. So if you need entertainment, if you're having a Zoom party, you want entertainment on your other, equipment, you need a DJ for your night. I literally, I always get tempted to press live because to join your live because I just want to dance, but then you're going to see me dancing like a weirdo. So I do promise you that I am dancing behind the scenes.
I'm pretty sure you showed up once on us. I think you and one of the kids were dancing and jamming on a Saturday night. We were at a wedding, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
The love is thanks.
Which we all miss. We all want them to have their weddings. We all want them to postpone, not cancel, because we can't wait to do their parties, correct?
Yeah, correct. And we're this week also on the live streams, we're doing something special, raising awareness for a little girl named Eva Batista, an SMA fighter. So we're doing lots of good things. But you're right, when this is all over, we can't wait till everybody is on the dance floor, and we are planning back and detailing weddings. It's going to be a fun time, but we're staying safe, staying healthy, but I'm excited to when it all is over.
We all are, and I'm being optimistic. People are asking me, should I move my October, November wedding? And I don't know, what's your opinion? Because I don't think they should even think about it yet, October.
It's a tough call. I think right now, those October, November weddings got to be a little bit of patience. If you want to buy the time, then sure, go ahead and see if your halls or venues will, accommodate you. But I think patience is everybody's best friend right now. And I think we all got to be in this together, work together with your hall, your church, your planners, your vendors. But I think October, November can wait a little bit just to see how it plays out for maybe a month or so. From what I gathered, Toronto has everything done till end of June. So if things go back, slowly come back, I think October, November might be safe, but I think they should just be patient right now. Give yourself maybe about 4 more weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, some venues won't even let you move yet. So there's not much you can do, but just keep planning. keep doing what you can do for your planning, because a lot of people, and I know you guys as well, like we're doing virtual meetings, and if anybody needs to book for next year, new clients, I'm finding people are actually even more available now to find ways to meet with their clients through technology, right? So there's
100%.
always
Yeah, we're still
so
open.
just
We're still open. We're taking care of clients when they come in. So,
yeah. Yeah.
lots of time on our hands now, but definitely it's a good time to take advantage of the businesses that are still running.
So with regards, and we're not going to talk about COVID all night, so I just want to ask you one more question, because I'm sure everybody wants to know the answer to these questions. What are you doing with clients that are saying we need to move our date, and they're staying at
So,
the same venue? Go
so pretty much at Digital X Entertainment, we're honoring the contracts of our clients. I mean, they're going through some tough times right now, and everybody is panicking and nervous, but we honor. You call our sales representatives at the office, and they'll move your date, and the contract will be honored accordingly. So whatever dates you move to, we're going to be there. And then if you are at a different venue or you're switching a different venue, we'll accommodate that contract too. Just reach out to our sales reps. Where we find the strategy for everybody is we're ready to work with everybody, and the less stress we can make for our clients, the better it is later down the road. But we are definitely accommodating, changing your contract, working with you to make sure that you guys at home, while this planning is as less stress. If we can take a tick off the stress level for you, then we're definitely willing to help. But we're honoring those contracts no matter what happens.
That's really good. And just to explain to people what you mean by if you change your venue. So a lot of DJs, so digital especially, they're in-house. If you haven't started your planning yet, maybe you don't know what this means, but you'll find out when you go to a venue. They're in-house means that in certain venues, they have their equipment in there if you want to use the in-house sound. So you don't want your other DJ that's coming in, if you have another DJ, to bring in their own speakers and their own lighting, because, it doesn't always look good. It doesn't always sound good. The best thing is usually to get the in-house. And if not, there's a plug-in fee and all that stuff. So
Right.
you have some venues that have your equipment in it, so they have to come to you if they want to use the sound and lighting, and then also you offer the DJ service in there. And what you're saying is, if they've hired you at, let's say, Primavera, because I know that you're in there. If they've hired you there and you've, they've got you for DJ service, MC, sound and light, and they're moving to a venue where you're not in-house, what you're saying is, you will accommodate them. They'll have to just get the other in-house if that's what they want, or you could bring your equipment, whatever they decide.
Yeah.
And then you'll adjust the contract to the DJ service and whatever else.
Yeah, and
you have different setups as well, right?
Some venues are being understanding now too. They're allowing us to say, okay, maybe we are able to bring our stuff in those venues.
Yeah.
So it really matters what venue you're with. But in our Primavera, Phoenician, Royal Ambassador, all our in-house venues, we will accommodate the contracts. If we move, we'll work with that in-house venue and their in-house DJ to come to a good agreement to figure out what's fair for both sides.
So DJ Melissa Rose, if you guys see her comments, she's with Digital X, and she's letting everybody know what venues you guys are in-house to.
Yeah, Fontana
Correct?
Primavera, Venetian, Royal Ambassador, and the Columbus Event Center are our in-houses, and we will make stuff happen. They're amazing people to work with over there, amazing staff. You've been there many times at all our venues, and we love our in-house venues. So.
Yes, but you also DJ anywhere, right? You can DJ in someone's back.
Someone's backyard, someone's bathtub, whatever people want, we're there. We'll go above and beyond for them. That's what we do at Digital X.
Yeah. So I'm a bride. Let's say I'm a bride.
Yep.
And I'm looking for my DJ. So the first thing I do is I'm going to contact you. You guys are located. Want to tell them where you're located?
Yeah, we're
Woodstream?
on Woodstream Boulevard. We're in the heart of Woodbridge. The intersection is Martin Grove and Highway 7. We're right beside Fontana Primavera. So if you come to Fontana Primavera, we're in the plaza right beside us on Woodstream Boulevard. You book an appointment, meet with one of our amazing sales reps. They sit down, and we have a little demo showroom that we go through with them, all our packages, and take care of them. Usually you get the contract done, and we take care of everything from A to Z. We have, as we don't have our own wedding planners, but we have a detailing team that's amazing. So once the process gets booked, then our detailing team reaches out to you, works together with the wedding planners, and then we kind of, send a little package. And then closer to the date, closer to the event, that's when we detail your event. We make sure we cover A to Z in introductions, parent dances, speeches, must plays, must not plays, anything that you're covering at a wedding. And then we put that together, we detail it, and then we communicate it to our amazing staff. And Rose, you've been a big promoter of us. We have some amazing MCs and DJs out there. I got to take the time to give, my Bruno D's, my Cheeches, all my amazing MCs out there a shout out. And of course, my DJs, Pep and the whole crew. You guys know them all. The list goes on and on. Joe Fatch, Alessandro, Adriano. You see them all on the live streams, but I do miss my MCs out there.
You know what, guys? Sorry to cut you off. This is a great time to follow Digital, because you come on every night and see which DJs you like. Because you don't really get to know your DJ, who you're gonna have the week of the wedding.
It's very rare.
But sometimes,
It's very rare that the DJs finally have the spotlight tonight, or this time during this time, right?
So what I'm saying is, if you tell them you're assigned Adriano as a DJ, they have the chance right now to see how Adriano DJs if they want, or if I don't know if you allow people to choose their.
Yeah, we definitely take requests. We definitely take requests, and they can also confirm a DJ. We have stuff called a talent fee too. So if you want that specific DJ, there is a fee to make sure that DJ is there. But yeah, like if you want your Adriano, John Carlo's been amazing on the live streams too. Joe Fatch, Alessandro, like I said, my list goes on. I got one of the amazing, talented teams, really loyal guys that have been with the company for a long time. And we brought some people in to just make us a really good team. But you can definitely request your DJ. We do have a talent fee, like I said, but definitely we'll take requests. We work with the client. It's their wedding. They're spending the most money they've ever spent in one day. And at Digital X, if we can go above and beyond to them and make their wedding easy, we work with them, and we got no problems doing that. It's all about the clients at the end of the day and making sure that they're happy.
Yeah, and I find I'll make an itinerary with my clients as a wedding planner, and I usually send it to the DJ, a week before or a week and a half before, just because closer to the date is better, because things change. We know that.
Right.
So, and I find it very easy to work with you guys, that we go with itinerary, and we're usually all on the same page, and we can talk about that, how itineraries go as well. And I really appreciate that you guys are usually on the same page and willing to work with us and willing to work with your clients. I really appreciate that, because there are some times, I show up and there's a DJ that is just, I never even heard of. And I can work with people I don't know. But it's just so much nicer when you work with people that you've worked with before and you know how they work, and the thing is too,
the amazing part is for us, and I tell all my guys, communication is key. We're all like, when you're there that night, and it takes less than 5 minutes for, Rose, I see you at a wedding. Let's go through the agenda. Let's just make sure we're on the same page. Communicate with the hall, communicate with your photographer, communicate with your videographer. Make sure that everybody's on the same page is so important, because you don't want a best man doing a speech and the videographer's in the washroom. And we're like, where's the videographer? Have your checks, communicate, go through everything. And that is so important. That's why the relationships with amazing wedding planners like you, we build, because when you show up on the Saturday night, we know that it's like clockwork for us. And our guys are pros. Just go through that agenda. Communication, I think, is the biggest key, and a lot of people forget. But if you communicate, you'll be taken care of like no tomorrow.
Yeah, and I tell my clients too, we write an agenda. We don't write, this is going to happen at 8 o'clock and this is going to happen at 8:03. We have an agenda. We have what we think is going to happen in what order. But you need to trust us, myself, the DJ, and the venue, of course, because we are running the whole evening. That if we find something is not going to work at that night, we're in a rush, or we have to change this, to change that. We are professional enough to come to them and say, this is what we believe you need to do to change stuff. So it's always good to have a good team that understands how the kitchen runs, first of all.
100%.
Yeah, and how food gets cooked, and then whatever. And if the people don't see the background of you know,
You know,
the lady in the kitchen coming out and be like, we need 10 more minutes for the rice. Okay, well, Gary, fill it in, like start talking or do something, right?
you know what? It's
So,
amazing because I tell everybody we should do a little behind the scenes one day, Rose, because the kitchen is so
oh,
important too, right? And it's like we dropped the
yeah,
pasta, but we need 5 more minutes for the pasta.
yeah.
What can you do? And my crew has a little bit of the tricks of the trades, but behind the scenes, the intricacies that happen all the time that like, and you know, and I always tell people too, times you could throw them out the window. We're here all night. As long
Mhm.
as things are flowing, you know, and us at Digital, we love to do formalities a lot during dinner. Let's always make sure something's going and something is flowing through, and it's so important. But the reality show would be amazing. Watching a kitchen go
Oh,
crazy
I
needing
keep
five
saying I
minutes.
want that. I want that, but I just worry about like the things that I can't show.
Oh,
But
and
no, I guess we can edit that. We can't do it live. But if I had a camera on me all day, I'm telling you, it'd be the most entertaining thing you'd ever see in your life. Because you don't see the first half of the day either. You
no,
see
I
the
know.
second.
That's why I chose.
Excuse me.
That's why I chose the entertainment side. We're the main event. You come to us. You guys have already dealt with all the headaches on the day, and then when you guys come to us, I only get the second half. So it's a good thing. I can only imagine what happens just before those doors open and a bride walks down the aisle. I can only imagine.
You know what? It's for me, the morning is like rush, rush. I got sweat. I look nasty. Like I just show up nice, and by the time we leave the bride's house, it's crazy. As soon as she walks down the aisle, it's like this breath comes over me, and like many times, me and Steph, my assistant, will look at each other and we like high five each other, like we did that.
We did
And
it.
then the
Like a
second high
movie.
five happens when they walk into the hall
That's where
after they've
we.
been
Yeah.
announced. They're like, we
Now
did
we
it, and we
we
did it
did
again.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. Because you know what? Every wedding's different. I mean, I've done so many, but every wedding is different. People are different, so you never know what's going to happen. Someone's going to get cold feet and not want to go in because they're embarrassed or whatever it is. So it's always nerve-wracking for us because yes, we have a plan. Like I tell everyone, so do you. You have a plan, but you know things can change. And the one thing I tell people, you know, if you're looking for your DJ, and I'll ask you too, like what questions you ask when you're looking for a DJ. And a lot of the things I like, many times I'll tell my clients, listen, you can have a do not playlist, that's fine. You can have a I would like playlist, fine. You can't give your DJ a whole list of things to play as if they're gonna follow that all night. And the biggest reason is not because they don't want to do what you want. The biggest reason is because as much as you think the wedding's for you, a bride and groom, it's not for you. It's for your guests as well. And you don't want your like
You're right.
if a couple comes to you like we like house, you know, we like house music. You can't play house music all night. Everyone will leave. So a good DJ, you know, is one that can read the crowd. So you might have a plan in your head,
Hmm.
but if you see people not dancing, a good DJ is
You
going to change
that
that,
song
right?
will last maybe 3 seconds. If the dance floor goes more outwards than inwards, that song's not going to last more than 3 seconds, and we got to figure that out. But I will say something on that. If the bride and the groom that night come up to us and request a song, that song will be played no problem either, right? And if you know, it's every wedding is different, but you try and accommodate your definitely your bride and groom. But you said it best. We wish we can. We got to smell the crowd, see the crowd. How is it going? And if more go out, then more come in. Get rid of that song and figure something out. But our team, we
Yeah.
got a lot of tricks up the sleeves that we can make sure that we can have that dance floor packed. But
But
we
that's
do.
the difference about, sorry, that's the difference between having a professional and saying, my cousin's a DJ, is going to DJ. People can DJ. Even like a club DJ comes into do a wedding
Right.
DJ. Like it's not the same. It's yes, maybe you know what you like and you know how to mix music, but you have to understand how a wedding runs to be a DJ at a wedding,
It's
in my
true.
opinion.
It's true.
You have to understand that there's old people there. You have to understand exactly if people start walking off the dance floor, you gotta change it. Like you can't panic like, oh my God, that wasn't part of it. I have to keep my playlist, right?
Yeah.
You need someone who will be able to read stuff with the
Read the
crowd.
crowd, know the best DJs, know when, even if the song is requested, you got to know when you can play that song. And music is so important. It's such an important aspect of the night. But the way I look at it is a great DJ will know how to read the crowd and know when the right time to play that song. Just because, the little kid comes up and wants Gangnam Style, or Nona wants Tarantella, you give them kindness, you accept the request, you thank them, and then know when the right time to play that song is. And that's what I feel does separate a lot of the professionals, that these professionals know exactly when to do it, know exactly when to hit the crowd, when to hit the song, and at what point. It's the other thing that's been amazing too is we've been doing a lot of dancing in between courses. We've been doing a lot of dancing even after they get introduced. So if you got that right crowd, then don't be afraid to roll the dice and have some fun with it as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about itinerary because, for the evening, I write an itinerary. Like I said, if they don't have a planner, you write an itinerary, or we share an itinerary. And also the kitchen needs to have that so they know what's going on.
Right.
So a typical wedding, we're talking typical, not something that's out of the box.
Right.
Guests are coming, there's antipasto bar, there's music playing, right?
Right.
Some venues have speakers in the hall, in the lobby.
In the lobby.
Some don't, right?
Yep.
But like I've never had an issue with that. You can hear the music in the lobby, depending on it depends on the venue. I find like sometimes you can hear the music in the lobby for the pasto bar, and then sometimes sorry.
The antipasto bar is my favorite. My favorite hour and a half as an MC, because that hour and a half is when you cross all your T's, dot all your I's. Find out if that hall is prepared for you to do dance in between courses. Find out when that pasta is going to be dropped. That hour and a half is so crucial to make sure that you, even if you have a band too, make sure that singer is ready and he's communicated to when he's ready to play their first song, and make sure their band is in place. Like that antipasto or the cocktail hour is when we do most of our work as MCs and professionals to get it. But that's also a time, you said, music level in the lobbies. Is it too loud? Can I make a quick announcement that I can hear? Are the guests taking their seats? That hour and a half is probably the most stressful hour and a half of an MC's day, to make sure that all the stuff is taken care of. And like I go back and I always harp on it, it's communication. And that's why when you get an amazing wedding planner like Rose, me and you, it's like, okay, you take care of these people, you take care of this people, make sure that everybody's on the same page. Because once everybody's on the same page, that bride and groom's day will fly and they will have no stress whatsoever. So, and go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I cut you off. I was gonna say, is like I have in the past experienced some DJs where I walk in and they're like, "This is my itinerary. I'm going by my paper, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I not understand that I'm here to help you as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not there, you're running around extra than to have to go find people. Whereas when I'm there, I find the people. I make sure they're in the hallway to be lined up. I make sure they're in, mom's on in the bathroom when you're thanking her in your speech, and they're all sitting down before a speech. Right? So I find that it really helps the DJs to concentrate and the MCs to concentrate on what they have to say and what they have to do, as opposed to chasing around. And a lot of times it's a team effort. Oh my gosh, where's dad? You look here, I'll go in the bathroom.
You hit the nail on the head right there, Rose. You hit the nail on the head. Right? It's team effort. We're a team. We're in this all to work together to make sure the bride and groom are good. And I love it because sometimes when me and you work and a speech is happening, it's like, okay, Rose, you get the maid of honor. I'll make sure our photographer, videographer are ready. Boom, let's go, So you said it best, work together. If you work together, all the vendors come together, take care of each other, work together, the night will go by so smoothly. I sometimes don't get it. And I mean, you are out there too. And I don't want to, you get the egos out there that it's like, hey, it's my show, and it goes both ways for MCs and wedding planners. Some of them will butt heads, but our attitude and what I teach our guys at Digital X is get there, show up, work with each other, communicate, and make sure that bride and groom at the end of the night are smiling and those guests go home remembering everybody,
Yeah. So we're going back to itinerary. So we have an antipasto bar. Usually there's music playing. There's some different lighting too. And this is the other thing that people don't really get, is that lighting is important, sound is important, but and I've been a few times, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a bride comes in and you say, do you want pin lighting? Do you want this I can't even tell you what the technology of all the types of lights you have
And
are,
different
and the
halls have
speakers,
different
like
technology. Yeah.
subwoofer this and that. Like they're not going to understand. So the sun, I have experience with you guys before that. You'll come to the venue and meet with us and show us. This is the lighting that we're talking about.
Yeah,
This is what we mean by this.
we'll accommodate that bride and groom. Like I said, it's their wedding. It's what do they want.
Yeah.
But if the bride, and you get your different bride and grooms, we know the scale of there's the crazy bride that has the biggest binder of her life. And there's just some brides that are just like, I just want this day to come and end. But if the bride wants to see the lights, why not? What is it like? What does it hurt? If it's another check to, release some stress from her, then sure, come and pick your colors.
Yeah.
What colors do you want on the pin lights? And I always tell my brides, and pin lights is one thing we can talk about, is keep them white. Keep all pin lights white during dinner. When dancing starts, mix them up. But the last thing you want is your guests to sit at a table, cut into a steak, and there's a purple light on it or a blue light on it. I always say, stick to white, dim it down, and you'll
Why do you think the plates are white? That's why the plates are white. For the same reason. You want the food to look better when it's white, right?
Yeah.
And part of your conversation is too, what color up lights do you want around the walls if you're doing that, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and those usually get discussed with our detailing team. But that's like you said, you have an itinerary, I have an itinerary, and all those notes go onto that itinerary. But those are the details a lot of people don't remember. It's to the point that we're bride and grooms, it's like they want, oh my God, every second light has to be red and blue, red and blue. I mean, it sounds tacky, but these are the stuff we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
But you know how many times, again, this goes back to trust your professionals. You do this every weekend. Maybe they saw something in some magazine that they thought was going to look amazing, but it doesn't go with what they're doing at their venue. If they haven't draped the walls and they're using this uplighting color that makes no sense because the walls are not draped and it's not all monotone. Like I've done it many times, which I'm sure you have, where the bride obviously comes in before all the guests and they wanted, I don't know, red lighting, and we started it up. And like, I'm pretty good at keeping what the bride wants.
Red lighting,
but also we have to give them our opinion. We can't just sit there and be like, okay, is that what you want? Yeah. So there's been times where I've been, come in here, come see this light because I don't like it. And so the bride will say, you know what? Yeah, can we change? Let's try the different color. You're right. Let's go with white. And you're very accommodating that way as well. Those things can change last minute, right?
Rose, I got to take a second. I think I see Stella Acquisto, one of our mutual friends. Hi, Stella. It's been way too long. Stella Acquisto, follow her on City TV. She's everywhere.
I do. We were on.
I know. It was so cute. You guys look so adorable, and we're doing the feel-good thing. But I just want to say there's a lot of names. I can't believe how many names in the industry are on. My crew is on here. Thanks for the support. Mario Salvo from Paramount.
Hi, Mario.
I know in a long time.
He's begging for you. Mario's begging for you back.
One day, you never know, but I just love.
You can go through the this will be on for 24 hours, so you can go through the comments after. You have to watch. Okay. You have to watch the whole hour. Unfortunately, I don't really know how to go through the comments like that. If someone knows, let me know. But
if I don't shout out to some of the people now, it's like Soundscapes in the house. Everybody's in the house tonight, so. You brought all my friends out. See, Lori Bernardi. Holy jeez. Okay, back to us. Okay, sorry.
They're on your Instagram, so your viewers are watching as well. You understand that, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I love these guys. I wish I could just sit here and say hello to everybody. But okay, back to business.
No, that's fine. Okay, so yeah, itinerary. So fine, we have Antipasto Bar. The lighting is a certain way during Antipasto as well. Yeah. You provide certain lights that go on the wall with designs. I forget what they're called.
The moving heads. The moving headlights go on the designs, and then you also have and you said it best too, like red lights. It's a photographer's nightmare too. And the photographer, videographer, you got to talk to them and say, okay, is the spotlight going to be okay here? Like it's so in lighting and getting the pictures, because unfortunately for a videographer, they have 1 second to snap that moment, and we got to make sure that their lighting is crucial. So you're right in the sense of we are the pros that got to let the bride and groom also know, hey, I know you want red light, but for this, we might want to do just a white light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and lighting is very important. Like, and people, I'm just saying this because I know, you know, and I know about lighting, but brides and grooms don't really get the work that's going on, whoever is controlling the lighting, and how important it is, to have a spotlight on you when you're doing a speech, to light up the antipasto bar. For me, that's so important because I
Yep,
need to see my food when I go to an antipasto bar.
it's
And I don't
true.
like when it's like, like a nightclub when I'm going through my antipasto bar. That's me personally,
Right.
but I need to see my food. So certain things like that get discussed between us when you beforehand or when we're there.
Yep.
Sometimes we're there and we're like, that area looks way too dark. Can we change it up?
Can we
And
light it up?
you have to leave it to the professionals to decide on that.
Well, one of my other favorite things, like in our area, is like, when the bride and groom walk out through their doors, make sure the spotlight is on them. And then
Yeah.
that spotlight, move and put it on the dance floor. Sometimes they leave that spotlight on the door, and that was our other communicative stuff that we have to
If
discuss,
you
right?
if you've seen the amount of times, I'm not saying you have, I'm saying if you've seen, because you probably haven't, because this doesn't happen with you.
Of
But there's
course.
been many times, I wish I was being recorded, because there's been many times where I'm like,
The
I'm like
lights, I
trying not to
know.
let anybody see me, but I'm like, they're doing a speech, where's the light?
Yeah, the
Like,
spotlight on the podiums are crucial too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
lighting's taken a whole new level in the industry, and there's so much detailing that goes behind it. But yeah, the little things like when another perfect example is when that speech is over. Why is there still a spotlight on the podium? And you'll see us as an MC or our wedding planner run to the technician, and overall they're all amazing, and the like it works. But of course, you never know what's going to happen on a Saturday night. And that's what I love doing my job, because everybody says, oh, you've seen it all. No, I've seen a lot. I don't know if I've seen it all, because have no idea on a Saturday night at 5 o'clock what's going to happen from 5 to 1 o'clock. And you just got to be prepared. And this is a great advice too that I would tell people is, if something happens, and I tell my bride and grooms, look, it's your wedding day. You can plan all you want, but if something's going to happen, it's okay. Let's just move on. Get through it. We don't have to dwell on something that's wrong. Why? Just keep moving, and things will fall into place, and the party will be amazing.
You know what? There's some, and this is like, again, what separates people. I know I say this a lot, but there's some DJs, you see them, they're just, I can't even explain it. But how many times have I messaged you? I'm like, I love this guy. Like, just on a Saturday, you
Well, you
send me one of your
love
guys.
all our guys, and my guys are amazing because none of them screw
Yes,
this up. And
I know,
my,
no, it's
my
not about screwing
crew
up, but
takes it
I'll
to heart.
extra.
If they take it to heart,
Yeah,
but I hear what you're saying. There are
no,
some
no, 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 no.
times.
Like, everybody's good, but sometimes people amaze me because I'll watch them and I can see how into their job they are, like how
Mhm.
into the DJing that they are. Whereas I've had other DJs or some companies or whatever that you can tell that they're just doing their list. They're just doing what they got to do.
Going
No
through the
facial
motions.
expression. Sometimes just standing there. You know, you can tell. You can tell the difference of people who really love what they do.
And I'm gonna keep plugging my guys that I walked into, because I have a lot of history in the business, but I did walk into a great group at Digital X Entertainment, and that's one thing I can say about the crew is they're so passionate about it. They care, and when they care, they give back, and that party's gonna be successful each and every Saturday night. I got such a crew that cares, that the feedback I get from them the week after is so like, my crew never stops giving us feedback, but that shows the passion that these guys that they have. And you could tell, people don't think, but if you don't care at a show, if the DJ's going through the motions, it's going to rub off on the guests, it's going to rub off on the venue,
You
it's going
can
to rub
tell.
off on that bride and groom. You can totally tell.
You can tell. You know what? Just a side note here. Let's talk about emceeing because that's like, what your specialty is, right?
Some
What
would
is
say.
what someone just wrote, you got the $1 million voice. So I have to say this.
Oh,
Um,
that's my buddy Frankie. Actually, Frankie's a big fan. If he were to get married again, I never emceed his wedding, but I've done all his family weddings. If he were to get married again, he hired me just for my voice. I'm convinced.
well, he can have an anniversary party. Like, why did they get
Sure.
married again?
That's it, Frankie. We're
Um,
renewing the vows. Anyways, go ahead. emceeing.
yes. So I've had this conversation before. I've had my husband on, we've had to talk about MC because he does MCing as well. But what is your reaction or advice, or without sounding, when someone comes to you and says, my brother just wants to MC the event? Like, how does that play out in
So,
your conversation?
so obviously, if I had my choice, it would be us, because, like I said, especially my crew, they love what they do. They're so passionate. But we totally understand. Uncle Tom has done everybody's wedding in the whole entire family tree. Okay. Why am I gonna I'm not gonna be say no to Uncle Tom, but that's where I always recommend to my bride and grooms is look, why not let us as pros do the introductions? Okay. We
Mhm.
introduce the bride and groom, and then usually what happens after their first dance is grace and toast. Let me introduce Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, the
Yep.
family member, and he can run the dinner part. Let him do all the speeches. Let him do some of the formalities throughout dinner, and I'll be there to help Uncle Tom. But then at the end of the dinner, when we usually get everybody up and on the dance floor, give it back to the professionals. So we usually say, let's work together, but I won't discredit them wanting their uncle or whoever to do it. Let's just work together with them. So that's usually what I recommend is say, let the pros get the crowd hyped. Let the pros do the intros, the centerpiece, etc., and we'll work Uncle Tom or whoever, Auntie whoever, in and let her take care of the formalities.
That's exactly what I say. I
Hmm.
like exactly. And my first question to them also is, have they ever spoken on a microphone before? Because people don't even get like, and some people laugh at me when I hand them the mic and I'm like, put it here. Don't when you talk. I always give them this like like if I'm handing them the mic or I'm bringing them to the podium, I'm always saying them, make sure it's out your mouth. And if you're gonna turn and talk to your friend, don't go like this. Bring the microphone with you. Like people don't understand the little things that they might do when they have a microphone.
Well,
They
that's
don't
a,
realize it's just talking on a microphone. But
yeah.
people don't get it. But
Well,
sometimes I get surprised about some good family MCs. I have to say, some of them are
and that's
funny and
the
they.
key for us as professional MCs is like just because we're giving the person the microphone, don't stop working. That's what
Yeah,
my crew does because they're so passionate is they'll be there to guide the guy and say, okay, do this, you okay with this. And you're right. There are sometimes some diamonds in the rough family MCs that are they're funny, they're comedic, and they do their thing, but like just us as my guys and my crew and what we do at Digital X, we don't stop working. Just work with them. But you're right. There are sometimes amazing family MCs. Look, if I had it every week, my guys would be the pros doing it all through dinner. I think the halls would agree with it. The vendors would agree with it. But like I said, we don't discourage it. We just keep working with it and working together with them to make sure
yeah.
that family MC is successful as well.
Well, I would always recommend having the professional MC there, and also because it's like they have you to lean on. If the
Right.
kitchen, if they didn't have you there, it was just a DJ. Not that the DJ doesn't know what's going on. They do know what's going on when it comes to, the itinerary and whatever. But, an MC in your family is not going to think about, oh shit, the mom's not there. I'm going to start. Or I need
Yeah.
to talk to
Or
the
the
kitchen before I start.
videographer is
You
in the
always need the
washroom.
professional. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You always need the professional backup. And I do
Well,
the same thing when people tell me they have a band, my first question to them, especially if they tell me they have like a Portuguese band or a Lebanese band or whatever it is that it's just cultural.
yeah.
I always say to them, do you have a DJ backup? And many times I've convinced them, well, they have to take a break. You do understand the band has to take a break. So I understand they might
Correct.
play some music on their thing, um, when they take their breaks. But it's always best, especially if you've already got an in-house DJ doing your lighting and everything, to hire the in-house DJ as well. Because afterwards, when you want your English music, like, that's who you want. And the other reason is because not all band leaders
Well,
can MC. They can't,
right.
and not everybody's an MC. So you need that as well. So
Yeah.
I always
Don't forget,
like just recommend having backup.
they don't have to hire the in-house DJ. They hire Digital X Entertainment, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant.
no,
No,
I'm
no,
playing, but
no.
I get it
Let's
because you're
always have
right.
a DJ and
Sometimes
MC.
sometimes the MC, I always recommend, and I love that you do that too as a wedding planner, is get the professionals. Let the professionals do what they want to do, and we'll figure out a way if, the band member, because you're right, there are certain band members that are not pros, but there are amazing ones. Like, we know the family we have in our industry and our hospitality of who's amazing MC out there. If they come to me, I think, there are certain bands I'll say, yeah, just use them. You only need our DJ to back you guys up.
Yeah, yeah.
Every situation is different, but always recommend get the professionals.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why you have conversation with your client. And if you have a good rapport with your client, they're going to trust you. And it's not like, oh, we're just trying to get you to spend money and trying to get you to hire our friends. It's out of our experience that we don't want your guests, trust me, your guests at one point are going to be like, what's with this Portuguese music? Can we stop now? Like, you don't want
Yep.
that to happen either. Or the
And
MC
that's
thing is big for me when it's a band because if they're a band, like my cousin has a band, he's going to come. But your cousin, even if he MCs, like he speaks on the microphone when he's at a whatever his club is that he plays at, he doesn't
mhm,
understand how the hall runs. And
yeah,
and a lot of people need to understand that, especially if there's no wedding planner, the DJ, the MC, together with the venue, are running the evening.
that's right. That's
It
right.
doesn't run just by itself. Like you're not just being like, okay, it's speech time. You're talking to the kitchen. You're understanding the food, what's happening with the food. You're so like if a wedding planner's not there, you got to do that job. Which, like again, I'll keep repeating
Well,
myself, but
us as
not
MC,
everybody off the street can do that,
I always say
right?
us as MCs, we're just wedding planners in a suit most of the time because we are there to make sure that everybody is good too. Like it's such a where weddings were 20 years ago to where we are now. The
Yeah.
level it's taken, it's incredible. But like I said, if people saw what we did behind the scenes and what separates the professionals, it's that everything constantly keeps going and going and going, and you just have to make sure that everything flows. By the time I've had when I've been in halls where the thing is the hall operations manager or the hall owner comes out and says, "Oh my God, I need 10 more minutes for the pasta." So guess what? My kissing game, if they're doing it, is about to extend 5 more minutes. Or we open up the dance floor a little bit. A band member or a family MC won't be able to do that. That's just because we care and we are passionate about what we do. Like it's not like to us, I'm the worst wedding guest in the world. I can admit that. If a family member has me as a guest and I'm there, I can pinpoint every single mistake that is happening, dead air, whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's why I love just
yeah.
hire me.
I
Let
get
me
what you're
take
saying.
care of it. Let me work it, because we're so and everybody has an integral part to the whole night and how it runs that I don't think anybody realizes how much work goes behind it. And going back to what you were saying, the key is to build a relationship with your bride and grooms early. Be personal with them. Find out when did they first meet, when did they first kiss, how did they first propose. The more you get to know them, the more of a personal relationship you build with them, the more trust they build in for them to take your advice and execute
Mhm.
exactly
Exactly.
what their vision is going to be.
Mhm. Exactly. Someone was saying, should I say, oh, centerpiece games. So first of all, my opinion, we gotta like something's gotta change about like we gotta come up with something amazing because
Hey, my
I don't
centerpiece
know.
and my guys are pretty amazing. Well, going to the
Anyway, so what are
centerpieces
your
is
suggestions about centerpiece games is the question.
well, centerpiece, I always say to my detailers and my guys, first and foremost, very important at the wedding, find out if those centerpieces are rentals or if they're giveaways. Okay. And a
Hmm.
lot of times, if they're rentals, like people call it centerpiece game, icebreakers. It's just a way of getting people up and onto the dance floor.
Yeah.
There's many different styles, many different ways. My centerpiece, I've been doing one that everybody seems to love, and I'll never change it. But the important part is find out if it's a rental or the flowers are being given away and what's it. Make that clear. I'd say early on in the night when you have the crowd with you just after maybe their first dance and you're maybe doing a kissing game. But for me, I change my style.
Oh no, you're freezing. What happened? I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Gary, I cannot hear anything you're saying. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me or you just can't hear Gary? Give me thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in. Looks really interesting too. Okay, can you guys hear me now or no? Listen, I'm going to go back out and come back in because our time is about to end and our hour is about to be up. But we're having a great conversation, so I'm going to come right back. I will see you guys in 2 minutes.